Okay, and we are live. Hey everyone, Derpy here, and welcome to my Chaos Theory raid, streaming all the targets. Thank you everyone for waiting. I'm going to be going through the targets from the lowest one to the highest one, and showing you how I'm doing them. Raid has been live for a couple hours, so I have done a little bit of hitting in some of the higher tier targets, but I'm going to show you lowest to highest anyway. Okay, looks like we have a lot of exciting things going on in chat, which is great. And let's see what I can pull up. On targets here, we have the very lowest ones are the C set here, which you're going to want to do Nemesis X and Saturn with. Those will be not a lot. Then I'll get out my Silverfish. Then the Pegasus, again, some of the targets here. I'm expecting all of these to be familiar. And then the top tier targets, which are the ones you're going to be looking forward to, the 140, 141, and 506. Okay, first up is the Nemesis X fleet. And this target's only going to pay out 5,000 points, which is not a lot, but might be good for some lower levels. And if I don't end up getting a video out for this, everyone watching back later can just go to this point and they'll be able to see these targets. And it looks like there's no preference, 50 or 51, which one you want to do with the Nemesis X or Saturn. I think there actually should be in the target list, but they're just going to show both of them. Although if you remember, when these targets were the top tier ones, we had two different targets here. And the Rock Ring Saturn worked best in one, and you could auto it more easily than the other one, which the Nemesis worked best in, usually had more ghost crawlers, and you couldn't auto it very easily at all. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna play around, see if I can turn off any feedback from my microphone. See if anything of that's going on, because I can hear some audio going through on my end. I'm not quite sure what the feedback is, where that's coming from. Is that, well, you'll have to let me know if that's a little bit better. Okay, here we are on the 50 target, and gonna look around it really quickly. Looks like we've seen something at least similar to this before. A bunch of skirt ships, nothing fancy. There does appear to be one ghost crawler in the bottom here, and the key point here is that you have to kill the purple things before you kill the ghost crawler. So I'm gonna go through, kill that first building, then try to kite everything. You could drive fancy and go through and kite every single thing, which I might try to do. Remember, if you hide in this cloud here and move one ship out, you can use that one ship to lure everything, like I'm going to do here. So my main 4 ships, you can't see them, but my cloud I'm using as a spotter, so it can kill everything without being killed. It does not work against any of the Viperfish ships, which are coming at me right now. Just need to move out of the way, or you will get hit exactly like that, because they can see it through the cloud. Now the ghost crawler here, I killed that purple building on the left, so the ghost crawler can die now to missiles. If you were doing this target with Saturns, you wouldn't have to worry about that at all. And you can do the same thing with the second cloud here. You don't have to worry about killing the building first, because the ghost crawler is already dead. Looks like there is one thing if you look in the mini-map at the very top of the target, and that's just a shrouded Viperfish, which shouldn't be any problem. And if the ships get in the cloud with you, they can see you and shoot at you like happened there. So you need to be careful about that if you're doing these targets. Looks like any damage I've taken, however, has been very low or non-existent. And yeah, it looks like probably instant repair on all my ships. So maybe these targets have been tuned down as we see them in this current raid. And because we've seen this before, maybe the damage is slightly lower. I don't think they change any stats like range, and they definitely don't change any of the target mechanics, but some of it might be tuned down as a low target here. I'm sure you could auto this and take a fairly low amount of damage, although if you use your Pegasus, you take even less damage. And again, the Saturn is better for autoing. If you're killing groups, ships like this, I'm not going to go high in the cloud for this particular one, because I'm not taking a ton of damage, but you can get away with that. I muted it, so you can slam that if you want. Okay. My group died there pretty easily. Something did come in from the top, and It did get one shot off at me, but you can see even driving fairly haphazardly, you do okay. There is a purple thing here that you have to kill, and every purple thing you kill has one of the shrouded ships pop up. Okay, there we go. That was first target done. Level 50 paid out 5,000 points, and is going to be half of a set bonus with something else. We can see here some corrosive, some penetrative, about the same actually taken. Total damage 11 minutes, so that'd be instant repair and base. I'm going to recall that, launch my Saturn fleet, and show you the other target, just so I use my other fleet there. You can see any differences in driving, just so that works out well. So what one do we hit that time? I was a level 50, so now we need level 51. And I will be getting into the higher targets momentarily. As I talked about, I'm going up, lowest, middle, highest. And I do already have videos recorded but not edited of top tier targets, so those should be dropping later today. Okay, that was a level 50, so now I need a level 51. And the set bonus on this is normal. You get 5,000 points per and a total of 10,000 points for the set. So you are getting, 50-50. You're getting 10,000 points for each one. I'm not sure what prizes you would actually get using these different ships. Hitting low level stuff here, I'm not sure what's actually in this raid for low levels, which, as I've always said, you should start out using for second mission low level. Okay, we have Saturns here, and this target is, again, another of those assault targets. And these ones, you don't have to worry about killing anything first. That ghost crawler doesn't matter. I can charge right at it, which I'm actually going to do, and kill it perfectly fine. It will trigger. I might turn around and run a little bit, because avoiding splash damage, which, spoiler alert, is key in these top tier targets too, you need to be moving to avoid more of the splash damage that comes from these corrosive scattershot weapons. And this one you can more blitz through here, especially if you have a U3 Saturn, Rock Ring Saturn, which I actually don't. So this is a U0 fleet, and it's not the best build either. It's the free one that all players playing at the time got from Kixeye. So it's not the best build, and it is U0. But if I'm showing you this can be done with a bad build at U0, then you can do it yourself, lower levels watching this, with any type of target here. With any type of build in this target. And again, you can use Nemesis X in this one, you can use a Saturn in the other one, it doesn't matter at this level. And I'm sure you can auto both of these with the Pegasus fleet. Okay, looks like the important thing to kill here left is that purple building, because that will release all of these Viperfish here that's just trapped around the entire target, and maybe the second purple building up at the left here. Those are going to release everything. And there's a cloud right next to these ones. We saw this in a TLC, you park your Nemesis right here, you can kill them really easily from inside the cloud. I'm not sure if the Saturns quite have the range to do that. And some of the enemy ships here, this is a good point to talk about. You saw that these ones didn't pop up, these Stonefish didn't pop up till it was very close. And that's something you'll finish the target, and there might be a hidden ship or two still left in the target, which you aren't able to see because it's submerged a ways out. And so if you finish the target and the battle's not ending, you didn't actually finish it, and there's some enemy ships left here, there's some Stonefish left that you have to go through and kill, and you have to split your ships up and go find them across the entire map. So that's what allows you, if that happens, you don't need to submit a ticket, you just need to actually finish the target here. We have 3 ships incoming from the far left on the mini-map you can see, and I'm going to trigger this last purple building when I'm inside these enemy ships, which is not the best idea, but I just want to get this target out of the way. Low levels have seen this, it's time now to bring in the slightly bigger ships and show off some other things. And here we go, last 3 ships. And if some of you did watch, I hope everyone watches the Alliance Crib show. They're the Alliance Crib show that Hefe puts on. I did hit a couple targets live on that show, and everything else I talked about was great. So watching that after this, if you haven't already, goes over the targets, the raid, briefing, a bunch of stuff like that. So that's a really good thing to watch too. So that was the level 51 done. A little bit of corrosive, a little bit of penetrative, more corrosive than penetrative, 11 minutes of damage too. I might have forgot to show my build for the Nemesis X, but I'm sure I have a fleet spotlight on it. This is the Saturn build. Okay, here we go. 10,000 point set bonus like I talked about, and now we're into the bigger things. So let's get out my Silverfish. Where are my Silverfish? You can see I haven't named my fleets very well. They're all kind of named Eradicator 1 or something like that. Okay. My fleet that's named Silverfish is actually my Riots. So, I'm not sure who designed that. I love the dedication in chat. You're waking up to watch my stream. Very nice. I know that you're not waking up to watch my stream. You're waking up and happens to be on. But, I appreciate the dedication. And we do have 6 days for this raid. However, I only have about 1.5 to play because I'm going away doing some fun stuff in real life. So, good thing there's not an actual ton of great prizes I actually want. Maybe the new rockets, maybe some upgrade tokens. But that's about it. There's not a lot of stuff for me in this raid, not a lot of stuff for you in this raid, unless you happen to be one of those people who, unless you happen to be someone who doesn't have the riot. Anyone who doesn't have the riot, yeah, there's stuff to get. If you already have the riot and you already have your fleet and it's already pretty much built, then yes, there is stuff where there's... What am I trying to say? The main thing in this raid is the riot. We already got that last raid. So if you already have it and already have it all built, there's not a lot of stuff for you, so you can easily sit out this raid. However, it's good to practice, hit some things, have some fun. That's why you built the fleet anyway, right? Okay, this is the Silverfish here, and don't be... There are Scourge ships still here. These are Scourge targets, but they're not the same Scourge targets I just killed with my Assault fleet. They're different Scourge targets, and they have different damage types, different resistances, which is great. And Love Angel, I saw you just subscribed to my channel. Thank you very much. Anyone who's watching in chat, you can do that too, so you can see my videos on the 140, 141, 506 when they first come out. Anyway, this target I'm hitting right now at level 60. We have seen something like this before in the TLC, crowd control TLC we just saw. If you have suppressors, I'm not sure anyone got the timing down. I personally don't have suppressors, but I'm just going to try and kill these things before they run away on me too much. Just for kicks, I like the name. It's very creative. Now, bat rays may also work in these targets here. I'm not quite sure, but I think these targets you'd be able to have some amount of success with bat rays. I should be killing that gluttony there first, the healing gluttony first, before all these ships if they're inside. But if the enemy ships are outside that gluttony healing ring, then I don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's see. Bam. And damage here is looking pretty low. My ships are all U3 in this one. My Nemesis X fleet was partially upgraded. Rock Ring Saturn fleet was 0% upgraded. No upgrades at all. U0. And I'm going to try and target the Gluttony here and get that killed. There's more mortar fire incoming at me, which my Gales will shoot down a little bit of, but not all of. And I do need to try and kill these healing things first because they actually heal the enemy ships at a pretty high rate. So killing the high health reserve ships is best. The gluttony is low repair efficiency, all that kind of thing. And especially because they don't do a lot of damage. I'd rather kill the big ship that has 1 weapon than the small ship that has 10 weapons 100 times type thing. I'm probably going to refresh after this target so I have a little bit smoother connection. Come on, I want to kill the gluttony, but it's not letting me. The pathing isn't working out quite right. Come on, let's die already. Here we go. And this target will pay out 25,000 points, and again is half of a set bonus with the level 61. That is also 25,000 points. So you're getting a total for this set of 100,000 points with an average per target of 50,000 points if you do both of them. So again, in these lower sets, you definitely want to do both of them. I wasn't expecting this particular target. I was expecting one of the 100 targets from the last raid series, when the Silverfish, not the last raid series, the one where the Silverfish were the top 2 raid series ago. I was expecting one of those targets. And interestingly, in this target, we don't see a third target, even though we have seen high-level co-op targets for the Silverfish before. Yes, the The suppressor might help with the gluttony using here. I did remember in this DLC people were having issues with it, and I actually still don't have a suppressor built because it wasn't very active in this raid cycle, and I haven't had any motivation to build it, and I'd rather just show it with one fleet anyway. It's simpler than building two fleets. Even if it would save me a little bit of damage, it's not worth the build time, or quite frankly, it would be all in tokens at this point, right, with all the TLCs. But damage was mostly explosive here with a little bit of concussive. So if you have more explosive armor, you do better in this one. Great, 45 minutes damage. My build is all the same for all the ships, which I'll show you right now. I do have one of the new limited armors on. Actually, my armor is a little bit different for the Silverfish because it has higher, different weight requirements, stuff like that. But I do have one of the new explosive armors on here because it was useful in the Riot crowd control TLCs. Okay, that's final level 61 in tier B, or 62, excuse me. The naming things seem kind of random to me. What's 61? It goes what 50s, 50, 51, 60, 62 instead of 61. I don't know what's up with that. Okay, here, and Dynamite, thank you so much for the nice comment. And let's show the level 62 without repairing anything, and we'll see what kind of thing that happens. And then we can get into the Pegasus, which most of you should have. And if you're not ready with the Riot, the Pegasus is what you're going to want to use. Let's take a break a moment, look at this target here. I'm going to move towards the enemy ships. The deal for this target is a lot of things are coming at you in the channel, and you need to get out of the channel before all the enemy things come at you. These two groups here on the left and the right, they're going to group up in the middle and come straight towards you. So you need to get out of the channel before they come straight towards you so that you are not cornered. These ones in the middle turn around and will come towards you at some point, but there are also other ships to go around on the left and the right side of the target around the outside edge. So you need to be wary about that. I'm going to target the Gluttony again and see if I can get that all the way dead first. Also killing these ships that fire smart torpedoes. I'm not quite sure what these ones are called. That's good. Okay, we have enemy ships coming at me. And now that I'm not moved away from the inside of the channel here, that entrance, I can loop all the way around this big island. If you are good enough, you could also manage to avoid some of the fire by using the mountain terrain to block any of that fire. And that would be useful. You can also try and block some torpedoes with some of the land too, although I'm not sure how effective that actually is. Because remember, torpedoes need a direct line of sight to you, even if they are accuracy based. They still need to be shooting directly at you, and they can't shoot over land tiles. Okay, here we go, and I will refresh after this target. I know I said that after the last one, but I will refresh after this one. I have ships on both sides of me here, on the left and the right, but the ones on the right are the Gluttony and this ice torpedo shooter one, smart torpedo ship, Nighthawk something, so those ones don't have to worry as much about. Again, targeting the Gluttony when I'm right in front of it, and that works out pretty well. This target seems easier than last time we saw it, although maybe I'm just improving my driving or something, I don't know. Yeah, Chris, you have to really, you're saying you stay in the channel. That's the key in this target. You have to move around to the left as quickly as possible without stopping. Okay, great. That's level 62 done. And that's going to be one set of 1662 for 100,000 points. Which, again, I'm not sure what you're going to get if you're going to be hitting these so much. Most of the damage taken was explosive, so any explosive armor you can put on will be very helpful. Let's see. Up to 1 hour and 4 minutes of damage. Remember, I did take some last time, so you have to go back, watch, and subtract whatever damage. But that is just under 2 coins repair if you were going to coin it, although I doubt anyone using the Silverfish is coining. Or at least not most people. Okay, let's get my Pegasus fleet out, which is labeled Shrikes, I believe. It's labeled Phoenix. I'm not sure why I labeled it Phoenix. It's a Pegasus. You got 1 hour, 25 minutes damage for that one target, or both of them? Because my damage there was both of them. Yeah, Tori, F2 CTX will help, although I think only explosive, the ZCX1, will be pretty good also. Because that adds a bunch of survival for explosive, and I was mainly taking explosive damage from these two, very little concussive. Chris, you're saying both. That's not bad then. That's pretty close to what I did, and I'm sure someone else can do better. So it's not bad there. Okay, level 80, and I'm going to pause and refresh while I'm going towards that target. And a lot of players were saying that they don't have a riot fleet ready this time, and I'm not quite sure why. You have to be, if you focus riot and prioritize riot, you can get an entire fleet built without coining, but you had to do all the TLCs, everything like that, do all the Forsaken missions. So if you don't have a riot fleet built, using the Pegasus, what I'm about to show is what you're going to want to do in the raid if you happen to be missing a riot. And it's probably going to be best just to do the 80 and 82 and forget the 80 or 82 and forget the 505 target. It's the old 505 target, and I'm not sure what they named it in this particular raid, but it is going to be the, at least from the forum post I read, is going to be the target that was the 505 last raid, even though most of us were hitting the 903. Let's see. Okay, game's coming back live in 1 second. Here we go. Okay. It's a 405 now. Great, thank you. I'm about to pull that up anyway on my screen if the graphics will load. By the way, do like the artwork here with the Chaos Theory badge. That is useful. Okay, tier A, you have to do all 3 for the bonus, but the bonus is very small, only 100,000. There's 80, 82, and 405. Great. Let's find an 80 and do it with my Pegasus. Chris, you're asking if I'm going to do a video using riots after you see what kind of targets they're doing. Yeah, I did hit the top tier with riots on the crib show already. So someone else got there before me? Yeah, someone else got there before me. Did hit the top targets with riots already on the crib show, so I did have a look at those already. I will show you them right after these couple targets, these 3 targets. I do have videos recorded but not edited yet. I'll see if I can get those released. They're going to be released either today, tonight, or tomorrow. And so if you're watching this later, watching back, I will have some videos on the riots up on my channel already. And those should be, I can talk through them, and with my videos, I'm trying to narrate them all now because that's more helpful in my view than just showing you the target with some music and sped up 4x. Narrating it and walking through step by step what I'm doing when I have time to narrate separately, then my recording seems to be pretty helpful. It seems to me that most people are liking that. Shifting gears now, the level 80 target. It is appears to be the 120 from raid with little, if any, changes, which is nice because I was doing this one for instant repair with my Pegasus fleet. Okay, and this one you just want to try and prioritize these vulture missiles. And why does this target this? You're asking why the set. Dean is asking why the set has the lowest total payout. So we saw that the 80 was 100,000, and the next one up, the 82, was another 100,000, and then the top tier one, the 405, was 250,000. But the set bonus was only 100,000. It's because that 405 was not originally part of the set, so they don't want to punish you if you can't do that by having a really high set bonus. So it has most of the points in the actual targets themselves. That's the general idea, although it is confusing. Okay, on this target you want to trigger the ships, then turn around and run. And there is still that little bit of a bug here with the ships, which actually works in our favor, where they will stop right before firing, which means that the ship should never fire if you drive this target well. And I just took a shot there, so apparently I didn't do it that well. Good night to anyone who has to leave in chat there. You can always watch it back later, or not, whatever you want. And so this target we did see in raid, and I was doing it with my U0 Pegasus fleet, which is still U0 for instant repair, the first raid it came out. And I am putting it on auto right now against these turrets here, because you don't have to worry about it at all against the turrets. It does fine. It's the ships you have to control it, turn around and run with. And what they appear to be doing is I'm not sure if they're changing the difficulty of the targets. I can't see any of the stats inside the game, data mining stuff, but they appear to just be taking the targets and changing the name, the level down from instead of calling it the 120 and 122, they renamed it the level 80 and the level 82. It doesn't make it easier, it doesn't make it more completable for someone who might not have a Pegasus built the right way, but it does make people think that it's easier. Okay, I am going to take a shot of damage here because I don't have a very high turn speed. If I was using a Sea Serpent Screw, for example, my turn speed would be higher. Or maybe if I was had a little bit more practice at driving, I could avoid some shots. But as you can see, if you look on the bottom right, all my ships here, I'm going to flick through all of them. They all have about the same amount of damage, and it's all very, very small amounts of damage actually taken. Because I was moving, and I have high enough corrosive survival anyway. My anti-missiles on here are, in fact, my build for my Pegasus is the same as my Fleet Spotlight, except I changed one special from to give me a little bit higher damage on it was the escalation special that came out for the Legion warheads or something warheads instead. Anyway, had 10% higher missile damage. So you can look at that build, and I can answer any questions about the build anyone has on right now in chat if you want. But I am using 4 missile defense system, 3 on my flag, and the specials only on the flag, and then 1 missile defense system on each of my backline holes with no special, and those are just kind of a insurance policy in case something else gets through. You'll see that more on the 405 target up next, not next, but you'll see that in the 405 target pretty soon. That's an insurance policy if I happen to get overwhelmed with all my missiles. I do think it's kind of unfortunate that they didn't give us the level 903 target, because most of us have practice with it, but I can kind of understand why, because it was a co-op, and you could reprogram it and have it not be a co-op again, but it might have been too good a target for last time, although people did enjoy it, and Kixeye wants people to enjoy the game, right? So maybe they should have kept it around. Okay, so I have a bunch of ships coming at me. I am trying to just run away from them. If you're running away in a straight line in these particular, any target that came out this month, this particular month, this was released with the ships are stuttering and stopping before they fire. That's a bug. It shouldn't be happening. It was fixed in the higher targets. So maybe next month, if for next raid, if they replace we see the targets, the 80 and 82 are really the 120, 122. If we see the 124, 126, you can't do them quite as easily. So I am glad that they have the easier targets in here for this raid, because they should be doable for free by anyone with a Pegasus fleet that has any of the similar builds we talked about here. Any of the general build ideas. You don't even have to have my build, don't even have to have anyone else's. You should be able to do this for free or very low repair with any of the general category build. That's something that the survival statistic was supposed to do. They introduced that to try and make it so you didn't have bad builds, just had different builds. But I'm not sure how that actually performed. I am taking a little bit more damage here from several of the scatter shots because I'm not paying that close attention to it. But it's going to be very low damage anyway. It might end up being a base repair instead of a map repair, but I'm not worried by the difference that much. I have my CICs on here. I have 3 Nessus, 1 turn, and then my War Pegasus again is U0, so I don't have the X1 CICs unlocked. So that's 3 ranged CICs and 1 speed CIC, as compared to just for Kix in chat there, who has all ranged CICs. Although all ranged CICs probably would work okay in this target. Yeah, I'm sure it would. But mostly ranged CICs over speed CICs. Although the speed CICs are helpful in outrunning these ships. In fact, I had to refit when these first came out. I had to put Hyper 30 on them too, so I could outrun all the enemy ships. And if you're just fast enough and have one, the turn CSC, and the right engine, and the right Hyper 30, you can do the scatter shot thing. Great, okay, that was that target done, and that was 100,000 points. And we're going to show the level 82 after this one. Damage there, more corrosive than penetrative, which means I'm bad at driving. 17 minutes damage, should be instant base repair, although I don't know about that last one. I'm not going to bother repairing because it's just going to go on, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm going to find an 82 and kill that one. Let's see if I can get another refreshing. Let's see, we have 32 people currently watching, 9 likes on a YouTube video, so I think y'all can fix something. I think something's broken right now. That's all I'm saying. And currently loading the game back up so I can kill the 82 and have a little bit less lag in the target for you. If you're watching this back later, you can feel free to skip ahead to whatever targets you want and look at any of that stuff. You can scroll through the bottom of the bar till you find the thing you actually want to see. Although I might have enough time to get enough videos out for all the individual targets. I definitely will for the top S set, but I'm not sure about the A, B, and C sets because I don't know my time would be worth that because I don't have a lot of it, and I've already made videos on these targets when we had them last time, just with a different name. Okay, we're back, and let's try and get let's get that 82 going. A lot of people are saying they have the, I've seen a lot of people on various alliance pages, whatever else, Facebook pages, TFC page, that says that have Pegasus ships that are way more upgraded than mine are, which is great. The more you upgrade them, they're going to do a little bit better every time, although upgrades are optional, and you definitely don't need them. Okay, level 82 target, we've seen this before. It was called the level 122. Yeah, level 122, level 132 in raid. And we just had it in a TLC too, the Tides of March TLC. These targets were in there too, so people should be pretty familiar with these ones. I'm taking a little bit of damage here from some stuff. I'm not kiting these quite as well as I should be because I just want to get through the target. If you want to watch the low damage version, there's the you can go back to the raid that this was from and find videos from that. People will be hitting this a lot more carefully. In fact, you can even do this target with Arch Nemesis X and Arch Nemesis X Fleet on the condition that you've refitted it and you're willing to do a lot of driving, and you have all the new weapons and new armor on here. Then you can do the target with a Nemesis X Fleet. A normal one, you'd time out because you wouldn't have high enough damage. And I tested that at last raid, or the raid that this was the top target, and I'm assuming it would be true then. There's no reason for it to change. And as this target doesn't pay out that many points, there's not a lot of reason to go out and test things like that for these mid-tier targets because it wouldn't be effective anyway, and most players would have the Pegasus anyway. Okay, I triggered a bunch of ships, but because I'm in the cloud, they're going to go back and get killed. They're going to go back to the normal hiding spots, which is fine. That's what I want to happen. And I'll use a cloud to kill these turrets here. You can hide in some areas of the cloud, but not all of it, because these fog cutter missiles, hence the name, can cut through the fog and see you. I'm going to try to kite these ships, and I'm kiting the ships. I'm going to go up through the middle of the target here, around the island. You don't want to double back. Even if I kill this early, I'm not going to double back because you take more damage from the Stormbringer missile right here. So you want to go all the way around so you're not killed by that Stormbringer. Interestingly, the Stonefish is one of the only, in fact, it's the only ship in this target that deals penetrative damage. All the other ships deal corrosive damage. So that might be worth making a note of. Okay, I've triggered that right group. I'm going to kill it the same exact way I did the left group. Maybe even I'll run over to the left side. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. So the next thing after I kill the stonefish is triggering these ships. These ships will trigger if you go right about the middle here. And more of them will trigger at once. I could go further to the left and trigger some more, but I'd rather take some time, kill this viperfish while it's still coming at me before I trigger everything else. Because remember, you want as few enemies coming at you at one time as possible if you want to take the least amount of damage. So ideally, you shouldn't trigger anything before everything else or maybe one other ship there is done moving. Now that there's nothing moving, I can come through and kill this. I can trigger these ships by going up by the walls. I have to spin around and go away instantly back towards the center of the target, or I get boxed in by the second dagger tooth on the right side who comes at me. Meanwhile, notice the mini-map where the dagger tooth on the left side is going off to the left of the target, and it's looping around where you can't go. It's kind of cheating, going around the outside. So you can't follow it, but you can have it. It will come at you. I do have 2 stonefish to kill here, which I might be able to get in a cloud. Being in the cloud helps a little bit against these ships, although if other ships are in there, they'll see you too. As soon as it gets in the cloud with you, it sees you. Okay, well now we have that last viperfish, which I'm going to use my bat wings there, my starboard port side desolation wings to kill. Then I'm going to power through the rest of the target. And this is possible to do with very careful driving for instant repair. I did show that when it was a raid target for the top tier, so you can go back on my channel and find that if you want to. And if you're watching this back later, lower mid-level, who has a Pegasus fleet, that's all you have, you can do this. You can do this target for instant repair. You have to be very careful about your driving. This driving, not very careful, so it won't be instant repair, but it will be, decent repair, although I didn't do any fixing on this fleet from the last encounter, or the last level 80 target, so keep that in mind. I did see some people say on some of the shows that the Pegasus seems slower now, that it's not one of these top, that slower now, like everything got slowed down a little bit. I'm not noticing that on this particular encounter. It's not happening for me. Although the further you zoom out, the slower your ships seem, and the smaller they seem too. Great, that was the level 82 target for 100,000 points. More corrosive damage than penetrative, which means it didn't drive that well. Up to an hour repair time. And remember, we were at 17 minutes before, so that's what, 40 minutes repair from that particular target. And again, you can do it better if you want to. But to get the bonus, you have to do the 405, which in my opinion is by far the worst target in the raid, in the last raid, and is by far the worst target in this current raid, assuming it's the same one. Especially if they haven't tuned it down at all. Because it sucks to hit, and that's just the tea. That's just the truth. Ships are moving at you at the very start, so I'm going to move towards them so I can move away. There are clouds in the middle of the target, which may be useful for you. I might not even complete this one if I don't really feel like it, but I need to show it to you. If you are hating the A set, I would strongly recommend hitting these 80s only and leaving this target alone. This target is not worth hitting, it's not worth the 250k points for doing it, and not even if you factor in the 100,000 set bonus. And it's only 100,000 set bonus, which is the same set bonus which is the same amount of points as doing the either one of the 80 or 82, so it's really not worth it to do the entire set. Unless you want to challenge yourself and do it the difficult way. If you want to do the difficult way, I'm not going to stop you. You can do that. Here we go. Very nice. There are a bunch of missile turrets in here, a bunch of enemy things, so I need to kill those. There are, what, 5 different missile turrets, vulture turrets on this one island? Or, so you have Tempest, are these Tempest turrets? I make the strategy guides for these, and then I forget what the turrets are called, even though I look it up for the strategy guide. I think these are, I don't remember. Speaking of which, I do have a strategy guide out for the current riot targets that I made based on the VXP targets, which came out at least a week before the Kixeye strategy guide did, and I got everything correct on that. All my predictions on there worked. So if you want a strategy guide for the riot targets, and you're looking for, and you can, the one I uploaded a week or so ago, week and a half ago, it still works, and everything I said in there is still helpful. Although I will be trying to make a riot video soon with some explanations on some of my choices for my ships and my future choices on armor. Okay, so in this 405 target here, I'm trying to kill things. If I can get inside the cloud, right, then I'm going to be able to kill things without them shooting at me, which is the goal. Although they don't appear to really come at me right now. They don't appear to target me. They're not moving towards me, was what I'm trying to say. Which is somewhat frustrating. I need to kill some of these fog cutter missiles so I have some space to stop and some breathing room. Here we go. Looks good. The Stormbringer, not the Stormbringer, the Fog Cutter missiles shouldn't really be doing any damage to you because you should never get hit by one of those red arcs. If you mess up, which I have, and you will take about half an hour to an hour's worth of damage depending on your exact build and your penetrative survival from the turrets. So it is painful. Welcome back. Yes, I'm still going hard. Only 11? We should have sound back now. I was off for a little bit accidentally. Oh well. You still have the target going, but I should be back. Okay, here we go. Ride fleet. My build is shown here. I'm going to cover that more precisely in a video. Okay, let's see. Tier X 140. Let's see what the payout here is from these targets. Come on. Okay, 250,000. And then there's the okay, so you get a double set bonus for this one. If you kill just the 140 and the 141, you get 500,000 points for doing damage and 500,000 points set bonus. If you do the top tier one, the 506, you get another 250,000. Let's pause a little bit, refocus, and look at this target. We have Hellwraiths, only Hellwraiths, Torpedoes, Towers, and Scouts, with very few Scouts in here. This should be a fairly easy one, less mistakes to make than the level 141. Great, okay. Moving through here, remember the Torpedo Towers do emit a cavering when killed, which will surface the enemy Hellwraiths. And I'm going to try and keep moving as much as possible in this target, because if you're moving, then you take less splash damage. And a lot of the damage from these different targets here, from everything in here, is splash. Hellwraiths, for instance, deal both explosive and concussive damage, but the explosive damage is all splash. Concussive is accuracy-based. Surfacing the Hellwraiths means you can kill them a little bit more easily, which is what I'm doing with the caverings here, shooting these torpedo towers. And the torpedo towers are not hostile. You don't need to kill them to end the target, and they are you don't have to worry about them. Great. But they are helpful if you so I'm gonna kill this torpedo tower and pull the next Hellwraith, which is surfaced. I'm gonna kill that one. They will stay surfaced for a little bit once they are out of the range of the cavering. And the cavering itself only lasts for about 10 seconds if my timing is correct. You saw right there the Hellwraith may also stun if it's in with about range 20 of the torpedo tower when it's killed. There are a lot of torpedo towers in this one, I think more than there are Hellwraiths, which leaves you a couple attempts to kill the Hellwraiths if it doesn't work the first time. So you have to if the whole Hellwraith killed, you can pull it over a second torpedo tower if you want. Although you can still kill it, you can still do it easily. You can still kill the Hellwraiths when you are not, when they are not surfaced. I did overload just there, you saw, which means my Raging Riot took enough damage. That increases things like attack defense for a short period of time, skips reload cycle, that kind of thing. We're up to 37 people watching live right now, which is good. I'm expecting a bunch more people to be watching this video after the fact, so you can see one of my first couple hits on these targets. I'm hoping to get damage for this one about 1 hour, although better is obviously better, right? But I prefer to do it for lower repair than this. Although you always want to do it for lower repair. But if you can do everything for free, and all the targets are really easy, and you take no damage in it, then there's no point, right? And you can't keep the lights on in Kixeye offices if people aren't taking damage in any way, shape, or form. I don't think the damage is too high. In fact, I like the targets, and after these top few targets, which are new, I'll go over a little recap what I think about them. This particular one is quite large, actually. Which, you have 15 minutes total to do it, and it takes probably 7 or 8 of those. Look at that, these top two ships triggered much earlier than that bottom one I was way closer to. The trigger range on these is a little bit different than each other. I do like that the concussive torpedoes seem to be a little bit bigger, so I can kind of see what's happening now. Because beforehand, you really couldn't tell what was happening if you were actually shooting down enemy torpedoes. like I have 5 cormorant anti-torpedoes, and they are working. And if you saw that in the video, zoom in a little bit, you can watch it. And the anti-torpedoes are firing. I'm not really using the junk jets that much in this target. Like if I spin around right there, the junk jets will fire. I think my torpedoes deal enough damage on their own, I don't have to worry about it. But if I do spin around a little bit, yeah, the junk jets will fire. I took a second reload overload bonus thing here, and target's over. Damnation, I think that's what you were saying, doing full circles. Okay, damage report. Some concussive, more explosive. I do have no explosive armor if you saw my build. Again, I'll be going over that later. 1 hour, 14 minutes. I've gotten it as low as 58. Has been my personal best so far from like the 4 or 5 attempts I've done. So it is possible to do it for lower, but this is a pretty standard repair. My riots are all U0 here. Note that most damage is on ship number 5. So if you that's concussive accuracy damage. If you increase evade on this particular one, great. You increase concussive resistance survival on this particular one, great. If you upgrade one, great, do this one. That's my recommendation right there. If you can get this one to U3 and put all concussive armor, maybe even increase evade a little bit, that's the one to increase all that defense on, because it gets targeted by all that concussive stuff. All this other damage should be only explosive base damage, if you're always driving stacked. Okay, let's see. I'm not going to bother repairing. We got 1 hour 14 damage. I'll even put it in chat here. We're going to find a 141. 1 hour 14 min damage from 140. The 141 deals more damage. It's about the same damage, but it's more complicated. There's a lot of more complicated things in here. You can see that we have the scout ships, we have the hell race. Now we have a bunch of mines, which you don't want to run over at all. And you have the larger hulks, the Reaver hulks, which were not named the Pancake. These were something else. But the Pancake was that really big mothership. Okay. Let's get some things killed. Against these scouts, you can't outrange them. You have the same exact range, so you have to move, try and move them perpendicular to them. And you don't want to double back on yourself. I think, Damnation, that's what you're saying also against the Hell Wraiths. If you double back on a splash weapon, you will be taking more damage. And these two ships are pretty easy to kill. Scouts are pretty easy. You don't have to worry about them too much. Looks like they're not going off the map in these targets, which is good. Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this torpedo tower and rush in, targeting the Hell Wraith. So, if I target the Hell Wraith and I'm able to get it triggered, moving close enough, right? It will start moving and be on top of the mine by the time my first volley of torpedoes actually arrives at the mine, and it should stun. We'll see. Not quite. Didn't stun, but it's moving. And the Hellrace fires 2 different types of torpedoes. There is a small gray accuracy-based concussive torpedo and a large red fire twister torpedo that deals explosive damage and is splash-based. You can see those 2 torpedoes in this target. Let's see. Gonna kill this next one. A little bit of a spin move. Try and avoid much explosive damage as you can by still moving and, again, not doubling back on yourself. Although I'm sure I could use a little bit of practice with driving. I wish my accuracy was higher on these torpedoes because they're not doing very well, right? You can see they get evaded. You know what I noticed? This mine right here has taken a little bit of damage. I think my junk jets dealt some damage to that mine, which is really interesting. You can't target it, you can't shoot at them, but my junk jets were dealing damage to it. I've also noticed the ice torpedoes dealing damage to these mines. Okay, the next thing I'm going to try to kill is this Reaver Hulk. it will shoot a volley of explosive stuff at me, but I have enough countermeasures, I can shoot it all down. I do have to make sure I keep moving in circles around it, because the ice torpedo here will come at me, and it does try to do bad things to my face. And you have to stay at max range on this one, or you will trigger the enemy. They have short range rockets, so you have to watch out for those. I can't tell if that ice torpedo hit me or not there. Yeah, I can't tell if it hit me or not there, but the ice torpedo will come at you and it tracks you, but it can't make smart torpedo. It can't make very, very tight turns. So if you move away, you do better. And you should be able to avoid all ice torpedoes in here. Maybe only 1 or 2 actually fire from the hulks. If you are overloaded, you have to try and kill as many things as you can. You know, because you're doing more damage, taking less damage. Here we go. This hulk here is interesting. It goes in little circles right about this path. So you have to loop around back on the backside of the target to kill it. It doesn't come directly at you, which is kind of rude. There are a bunch of scouts, but if you keep moving, they should deal fairly low damage. And you can kill them with a couple volleys, maybe even some junk jet volleys too. I don't tend to drive using the junk jet a lot, and I don't even have the X1 upgrades, which will help you do better against that. Okay, here we go. Killing the Hulk. Keeping moving. Ice torpedo comes out. I stay moving. Go perpendicular to it, and you'll take less damage. You can see rockets just fired there because I got a little bit too close. But as the rockets are splash-based, I was out of the way in time, I think. I think I didn't take much of any damage from that, although they should be explosive damage rockets. And gales do not work shooting those down. You're saying damage to face is a MTG turn? Yeah, it is. I do play, but I'm not sure that's where I got it. Face tank is the phrase I was coming up with from that. I think I picked that up from Brian, actually. We're off topic, but you don't have to kill these torpedo towers. Don't worry about them. They don't do anything. There are some enemy scouts left. Those are the things that are keeping the battle going. Again, junk jets, I am using them a little bit right now, although they're not really that helpful in my mind. They kind of just spew all over the place, and you can't really control them. I prefer being strategic, surgical, using the torpedoes. Yeah, I agree that these ships do splash damage, so if you want to split one ship off and use it as a tank, you could. I'm not. I think I'm outrunning most of the damage anyway, and I don't want to drive that complicated. I'd rather drive stacked. Because the target's more doable, it's faster that way. I might have to test, though, using a tank. More damage was concussive, less was explosive, and that's with me having a lot higher concussive survival than explosive survival. Total damage there is up to 2 hours 30 minutes, and I took 1 hour 14 minutes damage from 140, which means that was 1 hour 15 minutes damage again. And again, I've got it as low as 1 hour and 2 minutes or 1 hour and 4 minutes of repair from this target on the 4 or 5 attempts I have had on this one, so it is possible to do this for lower damage. Note that most of the damage is on ship 5. Well, let's find our last target here, which is what is this one? I want the 506. I need a 506. Hello, 506 Reaver Junk Bay. Okay, we have to use the locator. I think I'll try and refresh before I actually do that. I'm not going to refresh. It's fine. So the last target we hit. I might talk about prizes, damage something, build anything else people want, but I'm going to be shutting down fairly soon, so This is the important bit. Top target in the raid, which I believe is the best target to hit based on damage to points ratio. I'm already at 2 hour 30 minutes damage, which I'll put in chat. And we'll stop my ships after 140 and 141. The trick in this target is not run over the mines. You're exactly right there, Matthew. I'm going to go on this left group here, trigger them, and try and kill these 2 ships here before the minefield on the right. Because if I kill these 2 ships, then they don't hit the mines. Ooh, that might have been loud. I just hit my microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm going to try and run through the minefield. You have to really be careful here. You'll hit things. Okay, we made it through. Now we can get that Hellwraith to run to 2 mines. And it will take some damage. Now the downside of having the Hellwraith run into mines is that you get less points for the target. So keep in mind about that. So because the enemy mines are killing the Hellwraith, instead of you killing the Hellwraith, you're receiving less points because you're dealing less damage. I'd rather do that way too, so I take less damage anyway. I have a Steelhead's crew on Dynamite. Okay, time for these couple targets here, these Hellwraiths. I'm going to trigger them and pull them off to the far left side against the cavern. See if I can get one or both of those surfaced. Uh-oh. Ice Torpedo. I took Ice Torpedo damage. Not good. I was paying too much attention to narration and these 2 Hellwraiths, more attention to that than the Ice Torpedo. So this one, I did it again. I'm a broken record. It's not how you deal with it. Did I lose a ship? I did not lose a ship. The proper way to do is circle and keep weaving back and forth. Okay, now because mines are tricky and you hit a lot of mines, I'm going to do something that TSM recommended, at least in the BP Crib chat, and take one ship and split it off from everything else. So if this triggers the mines, only one ship takes damage. And the other ones are safe. As soon as everything's triggered, I'm coming back. And I got one mine triggered. Oh well. That's why you send one ship in instead of everything. I almost had it, but I didn't quite. Let's see, I'm going to go up to the top of this minefield and go around it, so I'm forcing the enemy ships through it. Primarily the Hellwraith. Here we go. I want you going through as many mines as possible. Oh no, you're supposed to go through that mine. Anyway. So I took 1 mine's worth of damage in this target. I think about each mine damage you take is 15, 20, 25 minutes depending on your build. This next, I'm not going to go through and kill those 2 lower ones first. I'm going to kill the ones that are exposed already. They're already out. I don't have to go through mines to kill these. I'm not going to bother dragging it over the entire target. I could up onto the higher level there. I could kill those. If I see in the mini map, I have 3 mines at the very top. I could drag it all the way across that, but that's not worth it, and that's not exciting. So I won't do that. Okay. I'm gonna send another ship in and trigger these things. This is one of the harder ones. Bam. As soon as they're triggered, I turn around and run and go back. There. Oh, we do have an ice torpedo. Oh no. Got one triggered again. Oh well. There's an ice torpedo coming at me, which made me mess up, made me nervous, or I'm just bad at driving. Now I could hit this 100 times and record the one instance that has no damage from mines, but that's not very ethical, is it? I lost a ship there, which is bad because I'm operating with fewer ships and fewer resistances total, but it is what it is. You can see there's the Hulk at the bottom here. Now that the mines are cleared out by the Hellrace and Smart Torpedo, I can run in. As soon as I see a Gale Barrage or Smart Torpedo, I'm turning around. I'm going off the other way. They can't do sharp turns very well, and you can outrun it, which is what I had to do there. So pick a side, and as soon as you see one of those Smart Torpedo comes at me, I go perpendicular to its path. 90 degrees to its path, it misses me. I am triggering some rockets because I'm going so close to it, but I have to, otherwise I'll take explosive damage from those clouds. Notice that I'm shooting down... Uh-oh. We're safe. I'm shooting down all of the enemy mortars, even with only 4 ships, which means I have 4 Gale 4s, and each of them have a... each of them only have a hydroatomizer nozzle 1 special. Yes, the mines do explosive damage. Okay. Last set here. Got through okay. Triggered everything. Let's try and get back. Perfect. That's how you want to do it. That right there. Forget the other 2 you just saw. You want to do it that way, okay? And the Hulks, there's none left here, but they have a death bomb, which wasn't mentioned in the forum briefing, and that deals explosive damage, which is very annoying because it's random. It's kind of random if you get hit by that or not, which I don't like, and you can't shoot it down. Okay, so I had 2.5 hours of damage on my fleet before this. I should be able to do it for less than 2 hours of damage, but I took way more explosive damage than I should. Look, I usually get 500,000 if I kill everything, but I missed 100,000 points because something else killed it. So that's something to be wary of. Something else killed it, you get fewer points. So total damage I took on that one was 2 hours, 50 minutes, which is not good. You should be doing better than that, about 2 hours total for it. I think it will be worth everyone's interest to hit all 3 of these top targets if you have a riot fleet, instead of just only hitting the top one or only hitting the 140 or the 141. All 3 are good, and if you're good at driving and good at sneaking through the mines, then the top tier target, the 506 I just showed you, is probably the best to hit. I'm going to show you my build now. Okay, forget that it's named Silverfish. In fact, let's rename it... Subscribe, how about that? Okay. Riot flagship here, Raging Riot, is 1 Gale, 1 Cormorant, rest are Jagged Bites. Armors are only 2 so far, rest are blank. I wasn't sure what to put on. Explosive Sync Drive, Advanced Concussive Payload, Blister Hot Bat Ray, Hydroatomizer Nozzle, Concussive Battery, and Damage Diffusion System. I think that I need to put Explosive Armor on this one. I believe all the damage this one takes is splash damage, explosive form. It might take concussive, I'm not sure about that. If it takes only explosive damage, then I only need explosive armors. 2 explosive armors will save me repair, I'm not sure if that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I go 4 explosive. Maybe I only go add on 2 more explosive. Maybe add on some of the F2 CTX armors. Those might be helpful. I think you want to have more explosive survival on your front 4 ships than your 5th one. All the ships are built the same right now, but on the back one, I think I'm going to want to go for 2 more concussive armors because that takes the torpedo damage. So I'm definitely going to add 2 more concussive armors in this one. I'm going to try and put explosive armors on everything else if I have enough explosive armors, which I might not. If I don't, then I'm going to try and put on some F2 CTX armors, and I might even have to keep 1 concussive armor on. I'm not sure if I'm taking any concussive damage on those first 4 ships. I think it's all explosive, but I might be wrong on that one. Might have to play around a little bit more, ask some other people. So if you're watching this later, you can comment what you think damage is on those first four ships, because all the concussive damage is from those splash. Oh, there's concussive splash too from those Reaver Scouts. So I'm taking concussive from Reaver Scouts and Hellwraith torpedoes, explosive from the Hulks and the Hellwraith torpedoes. So I think I'm going to go all 4 concussive on the back one. Maybe one of those will be a CTX armor. And then the rest will have to be mainly explosive with a little bit of concussive. So maybe 50-50 on these front 4, but the back one should definitely lean concussive. And if I do have enough upgrade kits for it, upgrade tokens, I'm going to try to upgrade it because you do get survival bonuses, which do help. Okay, let's see. Any prizes worth discussing? I think there are. Like I said, if you already have the Riot, you shouldn't. It won't make that much difference. There's not a lot of stuff to get in this raid. Main thing is just the Riot, which if you can do the raid, you probably already have. What you're going to want to get is the Orem Aquila rocket here, which is the Golden Eagle rocket. It deals 9,600, 9,400 damage, more than the one that you have on your Praetorian already, the Pylum rockets. And the reload time is increased, but I think most of us are at maximum reload time. This is worth getting, although it's very expensive. I think this will be good on your Praetorians, but the refit time is high. There are some other random upgrade tokens, but there's no great good thing in here. If you need damage diffusion systems, maybe one of each of these, future proofing is a good thing to go for. There are other armors as needed, Cormorant anti-torpedoes as needed, Riot, etc. as needed. I don't know why that says 2. Is this 2 points? Is a prize literally 2 points? I'm not sure what's up with that. Hold on. If a prize is 2 points, then yeah, I'm going to get it. Or is that a limit? Do I own 2? I can't tell. This UI prize redemption system is not my favorite thing in the world. Is that 2 points? Yeah, this is 2 points. I will take my 2-point prize. Thank you very much. 2-point prize, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what this thing does. It's good on Razor Tails. Very nice. Everyone pick up your free 2-point prize. Don't say Kixeye never did nothing nice for you. There you go. And on that note, I'm going to end the stream here. Thank you everyone so much for watching. If you have any questions, if you're watching back live, if you're watching back after this, or live, whatever else, comment something below when this video ends in the chat right now. Let me know you enjoyed it so I can do more of these in future raids. I will try and put them closer to the start time so it's more convenient for people. But like I said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better pirate.